Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, Piers Austin, and we are brought to you by Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on Facebook and on YouTube. And I just wanted to say a quick special thanks to all the other Facebook groups and pages that are allowing me to stream this wonderful interview and this great show in their groups. I greatly appreciate it. Tonight, I have a great guest coming up for you. He is a current Ring of Honor star. He is Josh "The Goods" Woods. But before I bring in the goods, I'm going to thank a couple of sponsors, and I'm going to do that right now. First sponsor is A-Rock Designs. They are the company you are seeing in all the wrestling Facebook groups and pages. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, tumblers, T-shirts, you name it, they make it. They made me this amazing CM Punk custom tumbler, which I absolutely love. Head over there, go speak to my good friend Ashley Rodriguez, and she will hook you up with an amazing deal, an amazing cup. They ship internationally, so you will get yourself sorted and taken care of. My next sponsor is Signal Studios, which is a recording studio here in Sydney, Australia. Now, these guys, if you're an independent professional wrestler, you want some new entrance music, you can hit up Signal Studios. My boy Rafi will make you a track, mix it, master it, and send it out to you, and you'll have it in your hot little hands. Also, if you're a musician and you live in Sydney and you want a place to rehearse or a place to record, they have the most comfortable place imaginable that you can go to. So head over to Signal Studios, check out their website, and you will be amazed. My third and final sponsor is Wazaf Championship Belts. I'm still waiting on an image from the company, but these guys make custom and replica championship belts. Now, look, guys, every pro wrestling fan, there is, either owns a championship belt or wants to own a championship belt. So make sure that you head over and check them out on Facebook. That's WASIF Championship Belts. Now, guys, let me bring in the man of the hour, Josh "The Goods" Woods. Big man, what's going on?
Oh, dude, what's up, man? What's cracking?
Not a lot, man. I'm really excited to talk to you, man. I have been a massive fan of yours. I love the work that you've been doing in Ring of Honor, dude. It's been amazing. You know, your work with Silas. You guys are so entertaining. Look, first of all, thank you so much for giving up your time on a Thursday evening to come and shoot the shit with
Friday
me.
morning, man. Come on now. This is awesome.
That's awesome, dude. But man, look, getting into it, man. Whereabouts in the world are you, dude?
Well, I'm in my room. I'm a child, dude. I'm so sorry.
No, that's
Orlando,
good, man.
Florida.
Nice, man. Did you grow up in that area?
No, my parents were military, so we kind of were all over. Like nowhere fun, man. I had friends that were in Japan and Germany, Hawaii, but nope, I was in Delaware and like Pennsylvania and Ohio, so like nowhere exciting at all. Just like really, really cold and miserable and lame. But they retired in 2000 or 99, and we came down to Florida from there. And my dad is actually a pilot for United, so he was a pilot in the Air Force, and now he's a pilot in United. And that's that.
Beautiful. Nice, man. Well, being a pro wrestler, you know, having to fly all over the place, hopefully he hooks you up with some discounted flights, dude.
It doesn't work like that, man. That's what I thought too. So I'm like, hey, listen, you know, I gotta fly. Like, cool, you can sit standby like everybody else. I'm like, what's that? I'm not but
he can't even hook you up, like sneak you into the cockpit or some shit.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty big, dude. Those things are pretty small. I don't know if I would fit in there, like with them. But yeah, no, like I haven't flown standby yet. Actually, I'm not brave enough to like risk it. It's a very risky maneuver.
Dude, especially if you've got a booking and a show to be at, man, that would be pretty hectic. Like, guys, I can't make it.
Hey, so I've been on standby for the past 3 days, so I'm not coming out.
No. Yeah, maybe I'll get there for the after show.
Yeah, maybe. I'll be there definitely for that.
But Josh, before getting into pro wrestling, you have an amateur collegiate background in amateur wrestling. Yeah. Was that something you did all the way through, like your childhood and through we call it primary school, but elementary school through to high school and college?
I started in high school. Like my older brother, he wrestled, and then like I was like, oh, Seth, I love you so much. Let me just do what you do. So like I played lacrosse because my brother did it. Like I played football, which I hated. Like a lot of people, like I don't know, Americans like love football. I hate football, man. Like I don't watch it. It's boring. They're a bunch of sissies, in my opinion, man. Like I don't know, dude. I'm a big fan of like just pure one-on-one, unadulterated violence. And I was like, yeah, let's do wrestling. So then I got into high school wrestling, and then I've been doing it since then. So that's, I think, 20 years. I don't compete anymore, but like I kind of still like actively train. So I guess I've been doing it for 20 years still. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And as far as professional wrestling goes,
Ooh, let me do this. It'll be fun. I'm gonna move you. So this is
oh,
pretty
okay.
cool. So like
Wow, look at this.
yeah, so this is like when I won nationals in college. That my mom made this for me. So it's like there's like our bracket sheet. So like so I'm not lying. I am actually pretty good at wrestling. I'm really good. All right. So like there's like the bracket sheet where I won. Let's see. I can't
Is
really.
this the NCWA?
Yeah. So there's me. That's my name. I was all American, and that was my freshman year. And then here's my sophomore year. I was a 4-time All American. Bam, junior year, and there's like a little rundown of the thing. Yeah, so I did pretty good. I had 108 and 16, so that's not bad. Not a bad little record.
Which weight class were you wrestling in back then?
235.
Oh wow, so you've always been a big guy.
No, what's funny is so when I wrestled in high school, my first year I was a 119 pounder.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was a little tiny little baby. And then
puberty hit and you stacked on.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Like I hated working out. Like I was the guy. I was like, dude, I was so small, man. It's embarrassing. It was like this. This would be Josh Woods right here. This would be me. And then like my brother's a genetic freak, and then this would be him. So this is how we would be side by side. And he's a monster. But now I'm bigger than him, and I beat him up sometimes. But yeah, I was pretty small growing up, so I didn't get big till like after high school.
Were you always a fan of pro wrestling growing up?
Yeah, no, not really. No, don't crucify me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, nah, man. I watched it with my brother. We had bunk beds, so fun. So he kind of got me into it, and so we would watch. We had this like little 20-inch TV in our room, and he was in the bottom bunk because he's the big brother. So I was in the top bunk. So he'd make me stand like by the TV, okay, with my finger on the power button. And like our parents, we lived in Dover, Delaware at the time, and like it was really, we had like wooden stairs, so you could hear if our parents were coming downstairs. So like we had like no volume or barely any volume, and I'm sitting there at the power button like watching it. And like if they would come, I'd have to turn it off and like jump up into the bed, like pretend like I was sleeping. So we watched a little bit growing up, which was always pretty cool. But then like once I started wrestling in high school and doing more sports, I just didn't really watch much of anything. I was competing a lot and training, and then so I'm a fan.
That's the thing, man. In America, like you guys take high school sports so seriously. Like football, wrestling, lacrosse is such a major focus, and you see. In Australia, not so much. Like high school football isn't really as well. We'd have rugby and rugby league here. Sorry,
men's sports.
But did you find a lot of pressure on you growing up, like that you had to perform at a high level, like from coaches or parents, or was it pretty much they just said go out there and have fun?
My parents are always really supportive. My mom, especially, hey mom, what's up? I love you. What up, girl? Hey, she was awesome.
Hi, Mrs. Woods.
Hey, what? Hopefully she'll see this one day because she's like not very tech savvy, so like she's texting her phone like this, like the glasses on and stuff. But they were super supportive, and like my brother was really athletic, and like my older siblings were like 10 years older than us, so they were kind of like done with athletics, so I didn't really experience that with them. But my mom would come to like all of our games and like my matches. Didn't really get a lot of pressure from them to perform. Not to be arrogant, but I was kind of good. So like I didn't really like, hey, you better do well. Like I usually did pretty good. I didn't really start really getting really good at wrestling until my junior and senior year. So like my last 2 years, and then like I had like really awesome coaches that were like D1 All Americans and stuff, and they were pretty hard on me. because like I really want to train. Like I didn't really do like I was so lame in high school. Like I didn't really go to parties. I didn't really drink like everyone else. And I was like, oh, I just want to wrestle. You know, like, I want to be so cool. And like, I was a complete loser. But all I did was sports. But I just spent a lot of time with my coaches and training, and I mean, it paid off. I guess pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And getting into the world of pro wrestling, you got signed by WWE and sent down to the NXT brand,
Mhm.
and how did that come about? How were you recruited into that brand?
So I have some mutual friends that have done wrestling and stuff. Like I've met them just through other friends. My buddy Luke Matthews, he's in Maine. He was down here visiting one of like his friends, and like we he was like, hey man, like you should train with my buddy Alex. You know, he like show him some college wrestling stuff. So this was I think my senior year. I was like almost done, or I had been done. Yeah, because this was the summer. So Alex Chamberlain was his friend. So now my friend, mutual friend, he just debuted for AEW, which is like really cool to see that because so he got me into this opportunity and this career that I have now. So I met up with Alex and we worked on some stuff and like we kind of trained a little bit. And he's like, hey man, like you ever thought about wrestling professionally? And at this time, I had already fought MMA. I had represented the U.S. over in Sweden, and I was going to fight again. That's what I wanted to do, but I ended up getting this opportunity instead. So I'm like, nah, I never really thought about it. I just want to fight, you know. And then he's like, well, hit up WWE, man. Like they're local because I wasn't living in Orlando at the time because NXT, I guess, I just opened up like a year or so prior. And I was like, all right. So like he gave me an email. I contacted them, like, here are my accolades and stuff. And then they're like, oh, you want to try out? I was like, sure, yeah, why not? And then I tried out 2 months after that, which would have been June. And then they signed me in July. And then I started in October or August. Yeah. Started in October 2014.
And how was the tryout for that? Like you hear the stories of like them really sort of like I think more old school ways of trying to break guys down, especially guys that come from other sports and athletic professions. Was there a lot of pressure on you as an amateur wrestler coming in? Did they look at you at a higher regard because of your athletic ability?
Um, I think so. If you can break, like, this is what I remember. Like, I'm not sure how everyone's tryout is. I can only speak for myself. So they it's very fundamentally basic. So there's not a lot of like drilling or hey, you guys are amateur wrestlers, you guys wrestle and we'll watch. There's a lot of like cardio and more so the goal is to see if you're coachable, teachable, and like if you'll quit or not. So it was very, very taxing. And fortunately for me, I had just finished wrestling my senior year. And I was still training MMA. So I was in really good shape. Like if I hadn't, I would have died. Like there were dudes that like looked way better than me. There were guys that were way bigger, guys that had been wrestling for a really long time. And I had zero professional wrestling experience. Like I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But like it was a lot of cardio. And I think that's like the only thing that really helped me stand out. Well, I know it helped me stand out, but this part for the physical aspect helped me a lot. Was already being in shape and just like listening, and I kind of like I had fun with it, man. Like I don't take a lot of stuff seriously. I'm not. I mean, I'm a serious person when I need to be. So I think like the second, so, so the second day. Have you ever met Drake Wirtz?
Drake Younger.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. I haven't met him, but yeah, big fan.
Yeah, so Drake was the head ref at the time, and like I didn't really know anything about anybody, and I'm just like kind of goofing around, and I wore like a white singlet one day, like just like everyone's wearing like training stuff, so like I'm kind of a dork, so whatever. So so I walk up to Drake, I'm like, hey man, you got something right here, and he looks like I did the thing, where someone looks and you get him. Yo, he did not like that at all, man. It was just like he was like, yo, what the fuck, and I'm like, dude, just trying to have some fun. I'm sorry. So like I was like, oh man, that was terrible. And I guess like they just want everyone to be kind of serious and take it seriously. And I was like, so that was me.
Drake Wirtz is a deathmatch wrestling legend, and he would be one of the last guys I'd want to fuck with.
Yeah, so like I didn't know that. Like I didn't really know about anything professional wrestling related or anything outside of anything. So I was just like, oh, it's just another guy that works here. He's a coach. Some of the coaches have been pretty cool with me. Matt Boom was like really cool at my tryout. So like I was like, oh, cool. I have this like kind of a little bit of a leeway, and like Demott was there, and he was having a little bit of fun with me. So like I was like, I'm gonna just play around a little bit. Well, that didn't work out very well because I got the fuck. But I mean, that was kind of cool for me. I'm kind of a dork.
But that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of politics in wrestling, and obviously, someone who's coming into that world from outside of that, may not know that. And did you find when you were coming into that WWE system, that NXT system, that there was people there that were trying to play those political games early on, or was it just pretty much because you were so new that you weren't a threat to them at that time?
So I understand what you're saying. Like looking back now, like when I first got there, man, I was so naive. I didn't know anything. I'm like, why are people like so mean? Like, why is everyone like got attitudes or something? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, chill out. So I think for me, like I wasn't really like at that time, I didn't think about it that way. But like looking back or hearing stories, I can kind of like understand. Like so for me, like my background, like I wasn't really a threat to anybody's job at that time because I don't think anybody was there that was um, similar to me, at least not as my look or background. There were like a bunch of shooters there, like JJ was there, Gable, Sawyer Fulton, who's now in Impact, and like Tucker. So there was like a bunch of those guys there, but like still, like I was still very different from them, and like which is really cool because those guys like hey man, like you're an amateur wrestler, come over here. I'm like, oh friends, yeah. like Gable helped me a lot, and like Sawyer, like Jake, he wrestles in Impact now, and like Jake is like one of my really great friends, and like he helped me a lot, and he was a kind of a great like mentor or role modelish figure for me in my class and stuff. So I learned a lot from like those guys and how to implement my style and stuff. But of course there are some guys that politic, like I'm not gonna say who, but
No, we don't have to go into names.
yeah, but like guys like kind of kiss ass a little more, or try and just like just do politic type stuff, like go out of their way to do things, or some people like snitch or things like that. There are some things that like I heard, I didn't experience them, but like I've heard things where like people would sleep like after like during a show, and like guys would rat them out, or if you fall asleep in a car, like they take a photo and send it to coach, and like people give you shit for it. And like for me, man, that's a lot of high school childish stuff, man. Like if you got a problem, you can just tell me, and like we can settle it however we want to. But like that kind of stuff happened a lot, or I would hear about it, and that's kind of crappy. But I think that there's like unwritten rules like I definitely didn't know. That had guys that like kind of took me under their wing and like helped me a lot. Like Sean Bennett was like really great for like kind of showing me things, and like as like hard ass as Corbin is, like Corbin kind of helped a little bit in his own way. So I had like really good guys to like, hey man, don't do that, or make sure you're doing this, and so that was like really good for me. But obviously, like I'm not a threat to Baron Corbin. I'm 6 foot, 225 pounds. Like I'm not gonna do anything.
But that's the thing. Like, once you started training within the WWE NXT system, how long was it before they actually put you in front of a crowd?
So before I actually did a show was about a year, and we had done some like practice matches in the performance center. So like my first like ever time trying to wrestle was against Dawson, and
Oh wow.
God, like I had barely learned how to lock up. I had barely learned anything, and so like the mom was like, "All right, man, go with Dawson." I was like, "And do what? Like what? I don't know anything." It's like, stressful. So me and Dawson are like kind of in that. He puts this match. So we call it on the fly. It wasn't even a hey, you guys have 10 minutes to talk about it. He's like, all right, just get in the ring. And I was like, now what? Like I don't even know how to get in the ring right. So Dawson's like, he's so mad at me. He's like telling me all this stuff to do. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, man. Like we're wrestling. He's like, do this. I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, no, I don't know, man. I'm so new. Like I can't even tie my shoes correctly, let alone I don't know what these moves are. So like that was like really stressful. But then it was a cool learning opportunity. So like Dawson is like a wrestling genius. So even like getting that opportunity was awesome. Him and Dash are phenomenal.
Oh, they're amazing in the ring.
Those guys are beyond incredible. And like I got to like watch those guys and learn from them a lot, and it was amazing. But my first match was in Fort Pierce against Bull James, and I think it was terrible. It wasn't good. I can tell you that right now.
No one's first match is though.
Yeah, I mean, some people have really great ones. They're not me. I mean, it wasn't okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good either. Like I wouldn't like, hey, you guys want to put this up on the network or anything? Nah, doo doo. But I mean, it was cool, man. It was nerve wracking not being in front of crowds because I've wrestled in stadiums and stuff before, and that's not a big deal. It's just oh god, like I'm so new at this. Like I don't want to mess up. There's so many aspects. I'm still learning. So it was about a year before I even got to perform live, which was
Oh wow. And how did you find getting in there and like in front of that live crowd and start implementing what you learned, like taking the bumps? You know, obviously you used to being thrown around and throwing people around with amateur wrestling, but sorry.
I don't get.
Oh shit. Okay, I apologize.
I'm just kidding.
See, I'm in Australia, man. You can't get me unless they open up the borders.
Not right now.
But sorry.
Not right now, maybe.
Shit, I'm hiding now. Sorry, sir.
That's all good.
Sorry, Mr. Woods. How did you find taking the bumps and falling and picking up that aspect of it? Because obviously in amateur wrestling, it's not being able to give yourself to someone else to be able to you're having that physical competition, whereas in professional wrestling you're really giving yourself to your opponent. You're giving them the opportunity to lift them up, or lift you up, helping you and do all that. Did that take you some time getting used to, coming from an amateur background?
So that aspect is like really simple for me. I can't speak for everybody else. Like I can watch and learn pretty quickly. So I've been taught moves my whole life and like how to move my body and stuff like yeah, it's a really unnatural thing, but it didn't take me that long to get it. So I mean, you are trusting people and like that part is easy because just like anything else, it's repetition. So yeah, I spent a lot of time taking bumps. So, like it was crappy, and and Demont did like a really great job of because I was with Bill for my first like few months before I got to advance into the more experienced classes. And he did a great job with like make sure like we all were kind of safe about it and we learned like properly how to do things because in the PC it's I can't speak for now. I can speak for how it was when I was there. So you have like 6 different classes. So if you're with Bill one month, you're with Robbie the next month, or with Billy, or with Norman. Like that's so many different people. Hey, do it like this, do it like that. So you're like, what do I do? But there's like a very general push towards safety and like they really emphasize doing things correctly and being safe. So once you kind of start like being able to bump and like it's pretty consistent, like you don't like think about it anymore.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A little while later, you got your release from WWE. Did they sit you down? And I can imagine that would have been heartbreaking, though, like the amount of effort and time that you put into it. But did they sit down and say, "Hey, Josh, this is the reason why. This is why we're letting you go"?
Yes and no. So. Okay. No. So.
I'm sorry. Did I bring up a sad subject? We can move past.
Yeah, I was devastated, man. Like I'd always been pretty good at everything I've done, so like I never thought that was gonna happen to me because I'd just been doing live shows and I had just had we had like quarterly reviews, like hey, you're doing great, da da da. So like on Tuesday, you're doing great. You're on the shows this weekend. On Thursday, ooh, you're like, oh, I was like, wait, what? It's devastating. So like I cried. Whatever. But yeah, there's like they had like a lot of people there, man, and just wasn't really anything that they had for me, and just didn't really it wasn't a performance thing, because like I know I wasn't doing bad if I was on like house shows and stuff, and I was like learning and progressing. I think it was just more of a we have a lot of people here, we don't really have anything going on for you, so man, that was pretty clean, pretty easy. They've always been pretty open with me, and like we have communicated in the past, and even still, I touch base with like a lot of guys and that are in office positions, and so like it's pretty solid relationship still. So there's no bad blood, if at least on my end. Like I don't know, I can't really speak for them.
But that's the thing. You look at that. It's like a release isn't necessarily always going to be a bad thing. It's like you've seen guys get released, they go, they get themselves more seasoned. You know, Drew McIntyre is a perfect example of that. You know, he went on the Indies, he went around the world and really grinded away, and came back a better performer.
Yeah, and that's what they told me. They're like, hey, because like I had zero experience. It's like I think there are a lot of people that come in with way more experience than me, and they don't last nearly as long or whatever. So it wasn't. They're like, hey, if you go out and you start performing more and like you make a name for yourself, we're not saying no. It's just a not right now, which is cool, man. And that's cool for me. I've been doing that, never stopped, and um, I hit up Norman Smiley a lot, and like Adam Pierce and like Billy Gunn. I train with him sometimes, and those like three main guys have like I've always reached out to them like, hey, like, can you watch this, or what do you think about this, and how's it going and stuff like that. So they've always been really good at giving me like feedback, or hey man, that was the shits, or that was really good, or work on this or that. So that's been like a really nice relationship to still have with those guys in that setting. So that's been pretty cool.
I mean, having those guys, you know, that are veterans in the industry and the profession to be able to call upon and get that advice that's invaluable.
Yeah, it really is, man. Especially like with Adam. Adam was like a big stable in Ring of Honor. So like, just what I'm doing now and things like that, and like utilizing his knowledge and getting advice from him and stuff has been helped a lot. Even like things outside of wrestling that I've needed help with. He's never been shy from like, hey man, like if I need something, I'm like, hey dude, I'm having this problem, this like my brain or whatever. He's like, yeah man, like just we'll shoot the shit. It's not always wrestling related, and that's been like one of the really cool things about the relationships I've built with them. Like especially with Billy. Like I did watch Billy growing up. Like he was like definitely one of my favorites growing up. And so getting to train with him and work with him and having like not only a professional relationship but a personal relationship has been like, yeah, like oh my god,
it's like fanboy out sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
like I try not to, but like it's just Billy, man. Like if you ever talk to him, like there's no way you can't just like fall in love with him because he's such a cool dude and he's just larger than life. I mean, he's like literally huge. So getting like wrestle with him and like hang out with him and like sometimes drive his truck when he doesn't want me to, which is cool. That's always fun. And like and then working with his son and meeting Austin, which is like really really cool, and having a good relationship with those guys.
You mentioned Bill DeMott, and Bill has, there's many people that have come out and questioned how his training methods were. Some people say good things, some people say not so good things. What was your experience in training under Bill and going through that process with him as the head coach at the time?
I have nothing but great things to say about Bill. DeMott was an amazing coach. I mean, things I experienced were pretty positive for me personally. A lot of my coaches in college and in high school were a little more, let's say, rough. I think it takes a different kind of athlete to do what we do, and there's different coaching styles that work for different people. Personally, for me, I really gravitate towards the style that Bill has. Like one of my coaches in high school was a former cage fighter and like a collegiate national champ, and that was an aggressive dude. Like I don't even want to say anything because I don't want to get him in trouble. But there were some practices where like, yo, chill, dude, and like I loved it. He was so aggressive and he was very hard, like a hard person. And then I also had another coach who was like the complete opposite spectrum, and I gravitated towards both. And Bill was just a very hard individual. Some people don't get his kind of humor. Some people are a little softer than others, and that's okay, man. Like, and I think some people, like as a coach, you kind of got to recognize who can gravitate towards your style, and like sometimes you got to change it up. And I think he tried to do that, and like some people just, if they're kind of sad, like, oh, he said this to me today, and like I don't care what happens going forward. But I never had a bad experience with Bill, and I didn't really witness anything that was like, oh dude, no, you shouldn't do that. So, and like even now like like I work with other wrestlers, and like I kind of coach very similar to that because like I think it worked for me and I liked it, and I try to kind of do what works for you, and hopefully it helps others.
I agree with you, and as we were talking beforehand, I have a background in boxing, Muay Thai, and MMA, and we were talking before, and I said I had. Huh? The cauliflower? No, I had this one done, but it's been drained many times. Yeah.
Can I end early?
My girlfriend at the time made me drain it, so it's still a little bit distorted if you can see it, but not
Hey
by
man,
much.
I gotta go, dude. I gotta watch Pokemon or something, dude. Like you let a what? You let
I
you
you know what? It was a badge of honor, and I remember telling my girlfriend at the time, I was like, "No, I can't drain it. I can't. I want to keep." And then she's like, "Nope, you're draining it."
that's why
And
you don't
the worst thing was she was a training. She was a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu blue belt as well. And I'm like, "Come on, this is a badge of honor." She's like, "No." So that's why I had to get rid of her, man. She made me drain it, but
you've
you know,
changed, dude. You've changed, all right?
I
Like
I know, man. I know. But and you mentioned that coaching style. As I said, I've been coached by guys very similar, and to me, that works the same way. Like that hard nose style. I've had guys screaming at me, swearing like drill sergeants. Man, you're not there making cupcakes. You're in there learning how to beat someone down, and the same in pro wrestling. It's you're in there, you're taking that punishment. So I can understand that style is to toughen you up for what you've got coming up ahead of you in the world of pro wrestling.
mhm.
But how did you go from going from NXT, from such a professional organization to then, going and trying your hand at the independent scene? Was that a big shock to you?
Yeah, man. So like I still don't I still don't understand what's going on, man. Like the indies are like that's a different kind of beast, man. There's like a lot of like shady and like backhanded things like I hear about and I'm like, what? Like people didn't pay you? You need to whoop their ass? Like, like that's not how that works. So there's like a lot of bad things that happen on the independents. I was very fortunate to pretty much make a like almost immediate jump from WWE to Ring of Honor, and I didn't spend a lot of time on the indies. I did a little bit here and there, and then with my new contract, I'm exclusive to Ring of Honor, so I can't really do any of that anyway. Uh, but I can travel, so I mean I'm allowed to do stuff like overseas or I'm just not in the U.S. So I come to Australia and whoop your ass.
Oh, come on, man. I'm a
Oh,
nice
baby, I
guy.
love you. No.
I'm delicate, man. Look at me. I'm an old man now, dude.
Oh, dude, no way, man. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a definitely different kind of animal, and like, there's no like you kind of get to WWE. I can understand how guys come from like the independents, and they get there, and they're like, yeah, that's like the mecca. That's where you want to be, and you don't, and they're not going to teach you, hey, well, if you ever go back to the Indies, it's like this, because like that's think about that, and like, why would you teach people, hey, man, if you get fired, like this is what you need to know. That's not like a proper business model, in my opinion. So I didn't really know a lot of anything, so I tried to like talk to guys like Bennett or Adam about, hey man, like what do I do? Like how do I contact people? Like what do I just didn't understand anything. So even still trying to reach people, like they leave you on red a lot. It's like, man, just tell me no. Like if you're not interested, like it's not gonna break my heart. Like I'm an adult. Hey, if you're not interested, you're not interested. But people don't seem to do that. Like promoters, they kind of play a lot of games from my experience. And and I get it, you gotta make your name for yourself, and that's cool, but I just think like there's some sort of like level of respect that could go like a long way for down the road, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. And, getting into Ring of Honor, was that way of done by, obviously, you mentioned Adam Pearce, who was in Ring of Honor and a mainstay there for many years. Did he sort of help bridge that gap into Ring of Honor, or how did you make contact with those guys?
Um, Adam kind of like told me of people who to contact and stuff, and so like how I got to actually even try out with Ring of Honor. This was in October after I got released, so like 2 months after. You're making a mess, aren't you? My girlfriend's eating tacos in bed. so yeah, I who did I contact? Uh, I was talking. I think it was Delirious, or no, I think BJ Whitmer. I think was kind of like my liaison at the time. I think Adam did kind of establish that. So I had a tryout camp for them. No, that's not how that worked. Just kidding. So so Steve Cutler wrestled for the Monster Factory, and I was really tight with Steve when I was in training. We were in some classes after I advanced, and he's a phenomenal talent too, man. Very underutilized.
Oh,
I think Steve is great, man. He's got a great mind. He's got a good look, and he's really good at wrestling. And he's like, "Hey man, you should contact the Monster Factory and talk to Danny." So I talked to Danny Cage, and we've been going back and forth. He's like, "Hey man, there's a camp up here. Some ROH guys will be there, and then like Bob Evans and stuff was there." So I went up to this camp. So I paid for my own flight and to go to the Monster Factory camp, and then so I was there and I was wrestling with LSG, who I think was with Ring of Honor at the time. And Bob Evans had seen us working. He's like, "Hey man, you should try out for Ring of Honor. They have a camp next month." I was like, "Say what? All right, cool. Let's do that." So Bob got me this opportunity. So the next month comes, like I booked my hotel. Like I did all this stuff on my own. So I paid for my own hotel. I paid for a flight. So the week before, I live in Florida, man. We get hurricane season. All right, you got. I don't know what seasons you get in Australia, but we get hurricanes over here. So
no, we don't have them here.
Oh well, lucky you. All right, things that kill you, like big spiders and angry insects.
Jacked kangaroos.
Yeah, those things are buff, dude. Super buff. And koala bears, so cute.
Man, koalas are fucking evil, bro.
Dude, I've heard that. I heard they're really mean, but they're super adorable. Kind of like my girlfriend when you don't give her pizza. Super adorable, but super mean. Sorry.
Well, put it this way, koalas are the thing that they have to eat like 23 hours a day, and if they don't have like those leaves on hand, they will turn nasty quick.
Yeah, dude, they're little buttholes. I've heard that.
Yeah, we call them drop bears.
Oh, what?
Yeah, because they'll drop out of the tree and attack you. No, I'm kidding. That's a rumor. That's an old wives' tale.
Yeah. So the week before the camp, the ROH tryout camp, we got hit with a gnarly hurricane in Florida. So I was in Orlando, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try to fly out of Orlando, but they closed the airport down. But the hurricane wasn't even gonna hit us at that time yet. So I'm like, all right, whack. So my parents live in Fort Lauderdale, which is 3 hours south. So I booked a flight out of Fort Lauderdale thinking, hey, man, I'll just try and beat the storm because they were still kind of doing some flights. So I drove down there the night before, booked my flight, and then the next morning canceled. I was like, oh, so cool. So my uncle lives in Atlanta. I'm like, well, looks like we're driving to Atlanta, which is like 14 hours from where I was at. So I drove to Atlanta, flew out of Atlanta, and then made it to the camp, and then did the tryout camp, I guess, and impressed some people, some who didn't like me. That's cool. But I did enough to get a second opportunity they came to Lakeland, which is 45 minutes west of me. I just got confirmation from my girlfriend. I don't know left, right. I don't know north.
So, yeah, I'm bad at geography as well, man.
I have like a GPS. I'm like, nope, it's left and right. It ain't go north. Sorry. So then like I went to Lakeland, and that they had like I helped set up. They had other guys trying to get in as well. So I did like a 6-man tag match, and like I learned, I learned a lot of really good stuff at NXT, like very, very great fundamental things, and I'm still trying to kind of find myself at this point. But I was like, man, I'm not gonna do anything stupid. Like at the trial camps, like people were trying to do really dumb stuff, and they're like, dude, just wrestle well, and then like you can do moves, that's cool, but if you can't like actually do footwork or be like on time, then like it doesn't matter how cool your moves are. So like I just kind of carried that over to this match. Like I didn't do anything like extravagant. Like I just made sure like I fed correctly. I made sure like my timing was good, like my footwork. Like I tried to make sure things that we did like made sense. Like all these other guys, like, well, let's do like 3 dives. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't dive. So like you can hit me and I'll fall over, but I'm not diving. I don't do that. So like essentially, like I didn't overdo anything, and I did like enough things well to, hey, we're gonna do this top prospect tournament and you're gonna be in it. And I was like, say, well, let's go. And then you know how that went. I won it, and now I'm fine.
And that's the thing, man, winning the top prospect tournament and being given that, Ring of Honor obviously did see a lot of potential in you and see that star value in you as well. And that top prospect tournament has been, look at you, just like, praise me, put me over.
Good. Give it to me good.
keep going, don't stop.
Yeah.
Obviously you look at some of the guys that have won that tournament. It's a very prestigious tournament as well for a lot of the young guys that are coming through Ring of Honor. But you've been with Ring of Honor for a few years now, and when you got signed by them, what was did you have main goals that you wanted to achieve once you got signed by Ring of Honor?
Uh, Obviously, I think they're like kind of different kind of people in this world. Some people who um, this was kind of a mentality in college, and I carried it over. There are people. So when I was captain of my team for my junior senior year, I would ask the guys, "Hey, what are your goals for this year? What are the things you want to accomplish?" And like a lot of the guys were like, "Hey, I just want to make it to nationals." Well, you want to make it, and then what? You gonna leave? Like, no, motherfucker. Like, I want to fucking win. I want to win the conference. I want to win everything. Like there are people who just want to make it, and people who want to excel in it. I don't want to just be a guy that sits and excels and collects a paycheck, man. Like, I want to hold gold in everything. Give me them all at the same time. Let me be world champ. Let me be tag champ, 6-man champ, television champ. I want to be everything like that. I always want to be at the top. I don't ever want to be the guy that's just there. So like for me, um, right now, with the pure title going on, like that's like a really cool goal because that's like very, very stylistically something I would excel at. So that's kind of the goal. But more importantly, the thing with Silas, the tag championship, that's kind of where the drive is at right now to get that gold.
And you mentioned Silas, who has been a guest on this show before, and I love the interaction between you two because it's just it's amazing to watch. Like you just see you, this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, young guy, and this grizzled vet that is just like just an angry man. And it's like in real life, like when I had to interview Silas, I was like, oh man, I want like I mean, like wrestling is a work. But you sit there and go, how much like their character is this guy going to be like? Is going to be like pulling teeth trying to interview him? And he's one of the nicest guys I've ever spoken to. Like he's just an absolute gentleman. But
You,
how? Well, I have got that charming Australian accent.
yeah,
So
yeah, 100%. That's one reason why I'm here is to hear you talk. Like I want to hear you tell me stuff. You delicious little man, you.
Oh wow, thank you very much. But how did you guys form that team and that how was it presented to you that they were going to put you with Silas? Or put you guys together, I should say.
So prior to us being together, I have a pretty good locker room etiquette and standing with like almost everybody. I get along with everyone, and like I'm pretty cool dude to be around in my own mind anyway. But
Tell us how you really feel about yourself, Josh.
well, well, I'm the youngest of four, and I'm the most handsome. Definitely the best looking for sure. But anyway, so I had a pretty good relationship with Silas just going into anything that prior to this. From like I bring food when I travel a lot. So I don't know if you ever heard this, but like I bring baby food a lot when I travel. So so like
Lots of protein in that, man.
what's that?
Lots of good protein and nutrients in baby food, dude.
Yeah, and they're good carbs, man. Like the boys make fun of me. They're like, dude, baby food, really, bro? And I'm like, I can whoop your ass. They're like, yeah, you right. But so it's like the kind of like the first time I was doing it, I was just kind of eating, minding my own business, and like Silas was like, hey man, what is that? I was like, this or that? Nothing. Like, is that baby food, Josh? And I was like, yeah, man, you want some? He's like, no, I'm a real man. And he's like, you're the most badass guy in this locker room, but you're eating baby food. You're an idiot. So I'm just like, why are you so mean, dude? Like, why do you hate me? Like that's so it's like every so like after that, I was just like kind of like a never ending joke of like, oh, you got baby food today? Or like that. I'm like, actually, yes, I do. Would you like some? Like, so I was like, I own it, man. Baby food is great. Tastes wonderful. So I would bring like all this food and I got to share with the boys and stuff. So we had like a really good rapport prior to this. So I had just come back from a knee injury and finishing school. And so kind of like a fresh start for me. And I started getting a little bit more momentum. And so Silas is like in a really good spot in his career right now where he's an experienced guy and people like you can give him pretty much anything and it's going to be magical. And I think he was just finishing the thing with Gresham, that story and program that they had going on. And so he's thinking about the next thing. and I didn't really have like a set story going on. So it was Silas's idea to, hey, there's a lot of potential there. Let me do this thing, and we'll see where it goes. And originally, it wasn't supposed to like be this long or this good. It was kind of supposed to be like a thing for us to however it was going to end, but it wasn't supposed to be this. And like it kind of just morphed into what we have going on, which is like a really loving relationship, and it's the best.
Yeah, like as I said, seeing the interaction between you two guys is hilarious. Like I absolutely love it.
What's
You
funny
know,
is, dude, like it's totally like that. Like if you would just put a camera with us and like we're not in character, it's the exact same way. Like it's ridiculous. I'm like, dude, just film all the time. It's like I don't even want to be around you like right now. Like go away, like, dude. Like just come on. Like I always text him like ideas. Like seriously, like if I could show you on my phone, like it's literally just like blue, 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 white, blue, 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 blue. Like I blow him up all the time. Like I'm really annoying. I'm like, hey man, I have this idea. Like, what are you up to, dude? Like, yeah, it's bad. Like, I'm the exact same way in real life, and then in our relationship, and he's like almost the same. So sometimes he's a little nice, sometimes he's not. Depends on how I get him. I don't know, but like, yeah, like I just love having fun with him.
but I think that's like, yeah, it's really that odd couple type relationship that's coming on screen, and it's, those relationships work amazing in tag teams, and you've seen that time and time again in pro wrestling. You mentioned the pure title tournament that you're in, correct?
I am.
Yeah, and obviously bringing back that pure title to Ring of Honor, which is something I think Ring of Honor fans have really been craving for and clamoring for many, many years. And the fact that they bring it back is amazing. I think it really matches your style. Personally, I'd love to see you take out that tournament because I think you'd be a really good representation for that title. Um, but with championships in wrestling, for you, is that something that you want to be like? Do you want to be one of the champions, or do you look at championships as, well, no, it's a prop, it's part of the story? And what's your take on championship belts in professional wrestling?
I think so. There's like A and B to that, right? Like, yeah, some people like, oh, well, it's just a thing that they give you to, like as a prop, I guess some people think that. But I think, having that, it's a responsibility, really, because like you get more like light on you, so you're essentially like a piece of the company. You're representing that company, and there's more pressure to perform and to do well because that's a spotlighted match. And that's a highlighted match. So I think having that like is really like a what's what I'm looking for. It's a testament to like how much the company trusts you. They believe in your ability, they believe in what you bring, what you stand for. They're confident in you as an athlete on and off camera. So I think like having a title for sure is definitely like an uplifting thing. I don't look at it as like, oh, well, wrestling is fake, this is a prop. No, like,
No, 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 no. Yeah.
yeah, I know you didn't say that, but like some people like, I don't think that. I think having a title like kind of like elevates you to like a next level. You have to elevate your whole game. You have to improve on everything. It doesn't afford you the opportunity to kind of slack. And like for me, like I strive to improve and to be exceptional. And I think that would just like kind of um, be like a gratification for like how hard I've worked. So like of course that's like something like I aspire to be as a champion in everything, and not just in Ring of Honor, but in my life.
Yeah, and I think in pro wrestling, when a company puts a championship on an individual, it's really like saying, "Hey, you're the guy we want representing us." It's an investment.
Yeah.
We believe you're the guy to carry this company in a certain aspect of, whether it be a secondary title, main title, or tag title. It's, we think you are one of the guys we want to invest time, money, and resources in, because we see something in you. And it is an achievement, and that's something that I definitely believe in the world of pro wrestling, is when someone does put a championship, whether it's an independent or a major promotion, it's still a massive accomplishment for the worker.
Oh, 100% agree, man.
So I did mention before the show that we were going to play a little game called Guess the Australian Slang.
So,
Now, have you ever been to Australia before?
no, but I want to so bad.
Well, I'm going to set you up so when you do come to Australia, that you're going to understand how we talk. Like we speak English here in Australia, but we have our own little lingo and sayings and slang words.
All right.
So we're going to start this out, okay? So I'll say the word and I'll put it in a sentence or I'll give you the phrase.
Okay. Let's do this.
First one is up at a sparrow's fart.
Huh? Sparrow's fart?
Up at a sparrow's fart.
Up at a sparrow's fart. Does that mean like you're moving really fast? Like you're getting up like, quickly?
No, you're getting up very early in the morning. Up at a sparrow's fart.
Oh, okay. That would be my next one. That was my next guess for sure.
All right. So next one is bogan. My Uncle Reggie is a dead set bogan.
Oh, that's not a good sentence. Dead set bogan?
Bogan, yeah.
I don't know, man. A dead set. I don't know, man.
Bogan. Okay, so a bogan is like an Australian redneck. Okay, so a bogan would talk like this. Yeah, mate, gonna go down to the pub, might pick up a couple of fucking Sheilas, have a few schooners, maybe get a schnitto.
Oh, man.
Can you tell me what a schnitto is? That's another one for you.
A schnitto?
Yeah, schnitto.
Use it in a sentence.
I'm going to go down the pub, have a few beers, and I'll have a schnitto for dinner.
Well, it's some sort of food, right? Is it a
Yep.
snack? Is it a steak?
No, schnitto is like a chicken schnitzel.
What's a chicken schnitzel?
It's like a beaded chicken.
Wow, you don't have schnitzel?
We have schnitzel.
I've never had schnitzel before.
We have to go to German restaurants for schnitzel, though.
Yeah, so it's like it's like crumbed and battered chicken that you fry. Like it's very bad for you, but it's so good.
It sounds wonderful for me.
All right, so next one is fair dinkum. Josh, are you fair dinkum, mate?
What kind of a sentence is that? Am I grumpy? No. Are you fair dinkum about winning the lottery? Well, fuck yeah, I'm fair dinkum about that. But am I fair dinkum about losing my cat to a gator? Well, same.
Fair dinkum means true and really genuine.
Oh yeah, I'm that for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So another one is, mate, that's a piece of piss.
Oh, like what the piss? Yeah, I use that a lot. They do. What the piss is that, man? Like what the hell? What the shit?
Nah, piece of piss means that's too easy.
What?
Yeah, piece of piss. That's like, hey, can you do that? Yeah, mate, it's a fucking piece of piss.
That's piece of piss.
Yeah. All right. I've got another one.
Piss.
Hey, Josh, do you and your lady want to come over to my house for a barbecue and we'll drink some piss?
Yeah, I do. Is that American beer?
You got that one right. Yeah, drinking piss is like drinking beer, getting on the drink.
Yes.
All right. So here's another one. Here's another one for you. This one's going to be let's go a three-parter. Hey, Josh, when you come over, just swing past the servo, get out of the bottle-o, and then swing past Macca's. So it's servo, bottle-o, and Macca's.
Is a servo like a supermarket? Or no, a gas station is not. They call it garage gas station.
Yeah, gas station, garage. That's a servo. Next is a bottle-o.
You have more than one word for gas station?
Well, we call them servos. We're like, yeah,
we call it garage.
We don't. We just call it a servo. We just call it. All right. So next one is a bottle-o.
A bottle-o, and get some chips. No, those are crisps. Snacks.
A bottle-o is a liquor store.
Oh yeah, all right. That seemed too easy. I don't want to go with that.
All right. Next, the third word was Macca's.
Macca's? That sounds like a restaurant.
You have this in the United States.
What?
You have Macca's in the United States.
Like macaroons?
McDonald's.
Macker.
What? There's not even an R in McDonald's.
We call Macca's McDonald's. Like it's a nickname that we have for McDonald's. In Australia, we have to shorten everything. So, like for me, like even my name Pierce people would call me Pierso, even though they have to add something onto my name to make it shorter. Like it doesn't make sense. We're an oxymoron country. What can I say?
It sounds really cool.
It does. It does. Thank you. All right. Hey Josh, do you want a sanger?
A sanger?
Yeah. Would you like would you want a sausage sanger?
Is that a sandwich?
Yeah, so a sanger is a sandwich. A sausage sanger is basically when you take one sausage on a piece of bread and a bit of tomato sauce, aka ketchup.
Like a hot dog?
Yep.
So do you consider a hot dog a sandwich?
No, we don't call it a hot dog's different. So we would use a Frankfurt for a hot dog, but we use like a sausage for a sausage sanger.
But you said a piece of bread, not a bun. So do you think a hot dog or a sausage?
Oh no.
Is a sandwich?
No, it's completely different. We call it that's a sausage sanger, sausage sandwich. Just bread and sausage.
Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt is a hot dog. But all right, so this one is going to be a little bit, R-rated. So this is another 3-parter. Hey Josh, I was just at the bar and I picked up this Sheila and she's good to go, mate. Have you got a franger for my old fella? So Sheila, franger, old fella.
Well, I know Sheila is kind of like not a derogatory term, but it's like a slang for a girl.
Yeah,
like a hot chick. Is it specifically hot, or is it just a regular chick?
Just Sheila. Like,
So
yeah, this is my chick.
You're my chick. You're my Sheila. What do you think about that?
Franger.
Is that a condom for my wiener?
Yeah, and old fella is wiener. It is. It is. All right, so we'll go one last one. Oh fuck! Dad's outside near the pool again, and he's wearing his budgie smuggler. Budgie smuggler. No, it's a Speedo, because what happens is when you're wearing a Speedo and you get wet and get out of the water, it looks like
you're
yeah. But guys, that's been Guess the Aussie Slang. Thank you for playing, Josh. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving up your time on a Thursday evening. Can you tell everyone where they can find you and where they can follow you and support you?
Well, first of all, man, thanks for having me, dude. Like, I know I like that stuff going on, and we finally got to have it. This was so exciting, man. Like, thank you for having me. It's really cool. You've been awesome. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Woods is the Goods. That's me. I am Woods. I am Goods. You can visit the ROH Pro Shop and buy Silas and myself's team shirt. We're coming out with a new one soon, so I'm waiting to get that graphic, and it'll be super fun. And thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate the support, and thank you very much.
My pleasure, man. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching another episode of Shooting the Shit. It has been an absolute pleasure to sit here and talk with Josh. I've been a big fan of his. I've been loving his work of Ring of Honor. Make sure that you go follow, like, subscribe to all of Josh's platforms. And guys, until next time, I'm Piers Austin, and we'll catch you very, very soon on Shooting the Shit Uncensored. Thank you so much for watching.
Appreciate it.